Just hours before Serbs go to the polls in what many are dubbing a watershed election, many are looking backwards to decide how to move forwards. At Belgrade's largest military cemetery, veterans gathered to mark Victory Day with a somber salute to their comrades who fell in battle. Branimir fought not far from here. He was among the first Serbian partisans to welcome the Red Army as it entered the city.
We met the Russian soldiers not far from here. They asked us for water and we gave them. On one of their tanks was written, "We are going to take Berlin." They had come from Stalingrad. Russians are the best soldiers in the world because they have Slovenian souls and fight with all their hearts for peace.
Tomislav Nikolic, who might well win Sunday's parliamentary election, represents that Russian alliance. A hardliner who promises to protect the poor, Nikolic says he considers Russia to be Serbia's main ally, seeking to expand economic and political ties between the two countries. 2 weeks before the election, the Serbian government announced its decision to ask its parliament to ratify a deal signed back in January between Moscow and Belgrade. Under the deal, the two countries will form a joint company to build the Serbian stretch of the South Stream gas pipeline and allow Gazprom to have a controlling stake in the Serbian oil monopoly NUS. The deal is widely seen as politically motivated. Sunday's parliamentary race is tight. The latest polls put President Boris Tadic's Democratic Party in the lead with 32.4%. Trailing half a percentage point behind is Tomislav Nikolic's Radical Party at 31.9%, which means that Prime Minister Vojislav Kostunica, whose Democratic Party of Serbia, DSS, which is expected to get 13.5% of the vote, could be a kingmaker in the next parliament.
DSS is using much more Russian connection than radicals. But both of them are using the Russians as a kind of backbone of their power and potential economic development due to their links with Russia. So they are promoting that, but people are not really extremely convinced that Russia can help.
And yet, out on the streets of Belgrade, it almost seems as if there's another election campaign on the go. The European movement in Serbia is handing out brochures and CDs to encourage people to see the benefits of voting to join the EU. Last week, Tadic endorsed a pre-membership agreement, whereas Nikolic says until the EU drops its support of Kosovo's independence, there'll be no talks. The division is reflected among the voters.
It is more along educational lines. More educated people are more pro-European, less educated are more pro-radical and more nationalistically oriented. Nationalistic in the bad sense of the word.
Dragan Sukovic is tired of all the politics. He still has nightmares about the NATO airstrike on the Serbian television building. He was working in the control room at the time and lost 16 of his colleagues.
I was working there on the first floor. Now it doesn't exist. I remember everything. There was this terrible sound like an earthquake. Then everything went black. Sunday's elections don't mean anything. After what I saw, and as someone who works in television, I've learnt not to trust politics.
Yet still, come Sunday, millions of Serbs will go to the polls in an election that's not just for the parliament, but a referendum on the future of Serbia. Will it look east or will it look west? Paul Islia, Russia Today.